All right, welcome. My name is Andrea. I am trained as a therapist. I work as a coach. I'm a professional tarot and oracle reader, and I'm a professional DJ. Welcome to my channel. I am already running late for an event, so I'm going to head out very quickly, but I'm committed to doing this every day. I do it on different social media platforms, so if you don't see a YouTube video every day, it's because I'm posting on other platforms too. But I'm going to plug in my computer, and then we're going to do a little reading, and then I'm going to skedaddle. So let me know how you're doing in the comments. I'm so glad you're here. If you want your own reading, you can reach out to me. There should be info. Sorry, my cat's up to no good. There should be info in the description box. Oh my goodness. My ring light too. It's chaos over here. All right. Let's do Oracle first and then see if we need any tarot. Let's get into it. Hope you're having a good day. This is a timeless reading, so whenever you find it, it's meant for you. But when it's being filmed, the astrology is absolutely bonkers. I'm filming this in Aries season, I believe, and there's like pretty intense energy today. I think sometimes when the energy is like this, you just have to have a sense of humor about it. Yep, definitely. I'll just get straight into it. We got the Observer card. I love the little fox. Ooh, there we go. I love the little fox in this card. I was just in London, England for December and January because I'm a DJ that loves music out of the UK and I wanted to visit London. So I spent some time there and I went to a lot of shows, so I was up pretty late and I'd be going back to where I was staying quite late. And because there weren't a lot of people around and not a lot of cars, the foxes would come out. So I'd be sitting waiting for the bus or just walking. And all of a sudden there's foxes in the road. And like, it's not that we don't have foxes where I am. It's just you're more likely to see a raccoon or a deer. Mostly raccoons. Rare to see a fox. But Observer, this is the energy that you don't have to do anything. I would encourage you strongly to engage with that energy, the observation energy. Be the observer. Don't be the one who reacts. If anything, be the person who consciously responds to things that are triggering and to people who are triggered. There are other people right now who are going to not have the capacity to be the observer of the situation with a little bit of distance. They're not going to be able to look at it from an emotionally grounded place. They're not going to be able to look at it from, just the ability to look at things as an observer. Sometimes we can be so deeply invested in a situation that we let our emotions completely overwhelm us. Now, especially because of my therapist background, I don't believe in bypassing our feelings. Your feelings are valid. Feel them. If you're experiencing an emotion, it means that it's valid because it's there and it's happening. And we will really benefit most of the time, most of the time from taking a minute, taking a breath before we respond. Because if you don't take a breath, it means that you're reacting. And most of the time we regret what we say and what we do and the energy that we're coming with when we react. So be the observer. It benefits you to stay grounded, and there's something about the energy right now where you might just be watching things play out and you might have to bite your tongue and just be okay, because to a certain extent that is an act of self-love and strategy, not in a weird manipulative way, just something in my eye, in the way that serves the entire situation, everyone involved. Like, if someone's getting really aggravated, it serves you both to not meet that and cause an argument, and instead be able to, oh my gosh, itchy nose. You're channeling when. I think there's something to that whole itchy nose thing when you're channeling something. There's no point in starting a fight. And you might think that someone else being aggressive, that's someone starting a fight, but actually the fight starts, I only just realized this in this moment, the fight starts when you choose to engage with the person who's being aggressive or bringing that type of energy. It wasn't a fight until you indulged it. It wasn't a fight until you chose to give it your focus or your energy or your attention. If you don't give it that, you're not fighting. You're observing. So I think that that's probably a good way to go. Okay, let's see. What else do we need to know? No jumpers yet. Let me know down below, are there any things that are coming up for you in your life where you're butting heads, or you're finding that there's opportunities for you to be an observer, or maybe you already are and you're just watching things play out between other people. Ooh, cat's got the zoomies. Hey, calm down. Okay, what else do we do? Oh my goodness. Okay, that was a lot of cards all at the same time. Okay. We got to see, regeneration, and higher power. Yeah. So to see, you might feel a little lost in this situation. Like you might be experiencing the unfolding of someone else's drama and you're a person who is choosing to observe instead of engage. You might be the kind of person who runs in as the rescuer, as the therapist friend, you know, that people-pleasing tendency to try and just make it better as quickly as possible. Oh, yeah. It's a channeling thing. I'm not tired. Somewhere to be. And you might feel a little bit lost right now in watching like the madness unfolding between other people in your life or towards you, watching what's happening in the world and just being like, to see, I don't really know what to do with this. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to make it better. You're allowed to just observe someone else and not necessarily take on their reality. I think it's very common for people who aren't comfortable with disagreement or conflict or even just differing opinions. It's like the desire for things to be peaceful and cohesive and everything just land in the right place. We can jump into problem-solving mode or trying to fix a situation that doesn't actually need fixing. It's just simply a different perspective or differing opinions. And differing opinions doesn't necessarily mean a fight. But if your nervous system is getting activated and you go into fight or flight or freeze, or fawn is like people-pleasing, any of those, that's it's a threat response. It's a trauma response. It's to protect you from being traumatized. Right? So you might just be finding yourself a little bit flabbergasted by the behavior of some of the people around you, and you don't need to fix their problems. You don't need, it's really hard for me to say that as a person who has had a long-standing habit. I mean, why else would I train to be a therapist or a coach or, you know, being in the helping professions? You want to help, you want to make it better. You don't want people to struggle or suffer. And at the same time, you cannot fix everything for everyone, otherwise they never learn, right? And you might just have to sit in that. But if you feel confused and out to sea while observing all this playing out, just know it's gonna be okay. They're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. Everyone's gonna be okay, and you don't need to rush in and fix it. Regeneration. This almost feels like a pivot, different storyline, but regeneration. You're coming into this point in your life where you may feel like you're starting over, but you're not. It's like you completed a level in the game, in the simulation, and now you're regenerating, but like in a different spot in the game or the simulation. Does that make sense? I don't know. If you're a gamer, you'll know what I'm talking about. So you rematerialize in a new spot with a new mission, with new challenges. You know, they say new levels, new devils. It's basically you're doing bigger things. You're expanding your horizons, you're putting yourself out there more, you're shifting your identity, and all of a sudden you've got other things that you have to deal with, and it might feel like they're coming out of nowhere. Maybe that's a part of it. But it's like you've leveled up. I used to really dislike that term, level up, because in my mind, I thought it meant that people were sort of pitted against one another, being like, well, I'm at this level and you're at that level. It's not like people being better than others. It's about levels of awareness and consciousness. And it's not like once you become self-aware, you never fall out of that self-awareness. We fall asleep all the time. You wake up, you're aware, you fall asleep. You do something silly, or you get, swept away by your emotions, or you become reactive. And then you wake up and you're like, oh no, look what I'm doing. Okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. And then you fall asleep and you wind up in, getting swept away again. So it's all about just not comparing yourself to others, and instead being very focused on what you are doing, being in your lane. I've certainly struggled with this myself, and itchy nose. You are regenerating, but this time when you materialize, you're in a whole new level. And it's not, pardon me, throat chakra stuff. It's not that you're better than anybody else or worse than anybody else. You're literally playing your own game. You're playing your own game. And that's perfect. Because then you don't need to worry about anybody else. You can care about them, but you don't need to care about what they think of you. And you don't have to be concerned about what other people are achieving unless it's an inspiration. You don't need to look at it. Unless it's teaching you something or inspiring you and moving you forward, you don't need to look at it right now. You can put certain influencers away. You can put certain apps away. You can really pare it down and create simplicity in your life that's going to allow you to move forward like leaps and bounds when your energy is not being siphoned in all these different directions because you're giving it away. It's not just people taking it. I know we talk about energy vampires and sometimes there's people who just want your attention and you're like, I can't give this to you right now. But there's also the shadow side of us giving our focus away because we're avoiding putting ourselves out there, because we're avoiding being bright and shiny and big like we actually are, claiming our divinity, claiming your radiance and your fabulousness. We shut ourselves down, right? And so much of the distractions, it's like, oh my god, there's so many messages in my head. We give our power away by giving our focus and our attention away. If you were able to fully streamline your focus and say, just miraculously wave a magic wand and you never got distracted, how far you would be in life right now. Now, obviously that's not how it works, but we are learning to stop worrying about what everybody else is doing and focus on the level that you're in. You are not better than someone else. You are simply moving through your own simulation and doing the best that you can. Hi. So you're regenerating, and you may be coming out of a period where you really felt like things were not going your way, where you fell off the wagon or the horse. I like to think of it like you go on a side quest. And at first I felt guilty about going on side quests. I'm like, oh no, I'm getting distracted. This is the wrong thing to be doing. It's not like that. It's so funny because I'm not actually a gamer, but I like this analogy. Hi. This is Pearl. Princess Pearl the Benevolent and her lovely cone. The side quests are a part of the main quest. Not only that, the side quest in a video game teaches you skills, gets you wisdom, it gives you points and armor and objects, helpful things that end up actually facilitating the main quest. It's 11:11 on my clock. Oh my gosh, I love it. So it's okay, give yourself compassion for the distractions, but also recognize that your only task is to focus on your own game. Just, I don't know, there's something about that. If you felt yourself if you feel overwhelmed, this might be a thing, because I'm having trouble like getting these thoughts to come out and making the words. If you feel like overwhelmed, confused, you lost track of where you're going and what you're doing, and now you're beating yourself up about it, I strongly encourage you, number one, to take my love and compassion. Take it. Take it, because I got it for you. Number two, know that it was a side quest. It was necessary. It made you stronger. It gave you more to work with. And now use whatever like metaphor you want. I don't think you fell off the horse. I think you took the horse on like a magical ride. It turned into a unicorn for a little while. Like, you did something. You did something different. And now you're back and you're regenerating. And it might just feel like everything around you, you're purring so much. It might just feel like everything around you doesn't make sense right now, because to this new version of you, what people are doing doesn't make sense. And that's okay. It's hard. It's tough to be there and watch that and have to keep interacting with things that don't resonate for you. But the reality is that the new versions of you don't just magically materialize on the other side of the world. You know, say you want to move somewhere. Well, that version of you that you imagine in your future doesn't just magically appear in that place. When you regenerate in the game, in the simulation, sometimes you're regenerating in exactly the same spot, but you're at a different frequency. You're at a different level of consciousness. And now that's what you have to work with. This environment that you have, your 3D, is what you have to work with. But you have a different level of consciousness. You have a different frequency, so you can make different decisions. You're going to show up differently with your energy. Ooh, that feels good. It feels really juicy. I think you just shifted your attitude. Whoever is watching this, I hope so. I feel like someone just like got their groove back in that moment, or their spark, or I don't know. Anyways, a big part of this though is your spirituality, is your belief in something greater than you, whatever you want to call it. Oh, pardon me. It's so funny because in my mind I'm like very excited. I'm not wired, but like, you know, I'm very awake. But the yawns come when I'm channeling something that's hitting home, you know? I got the higher power card. You've gone from maybe just when you experience confusion about what was happening in life and where you're going, it would just shatter your self-concept or just make you feel really, really badly about yourself. And now you're at this point. Even if you weren't a very spiritual person before, maybe you still don't even identify so much as a spiritual person, but I feel like you do at this point, or getting there. Because whether you want to label it that or not, you're developing a certain level of trust, not only in yourself, but in the unfolding of your destiny, if you decide that you believe in a destiny. Now, I believe in both destiny and free will. It's like a choose your own adventure novel, you know? There's different outcomes, but generally speaking, you're sort of aiming towards something that feels deep down like a destiny, but it'll look different than you think. It's about tapping into the feeling, but you still make decisions. You can still screw things up. So, but you can also, in any moment, shift your consciousness, your awareness, your frequency, choose your identity moment to moment. And so no matter which direction you've gone, you can always course correct. And you might even say that you're not off course. I was listening to a creator today, a manifestation teacher creator, who was talking about how there are no wrong paths. Now, there are some paths that take us in really not great directions, but there's a lesson in awareness then when you find yourself in a situation. You're like, that was a bad choice. Well, maybe it wasn't a good choice, but it wasn't necessarily a wrong choice, because it presents an opportunity to engage with a level of consciousness that is required in order to get you back on track or what into the feeling of being back on track, you're always technically on track if you understand that you are tapped in to. This is a really hard thing to describe. It's because I'm talking about the ineffable. I'm talking about supreme consciousness. I'm talking about something that just like isn't actually fully defined. It's really hard to explain it with human words. You are starting to believe in something greater than yourself because you're seeing proof of it. But it's really hard to call it proof when, it's not traditional science. It's not something that maybe you could show your friends. I remember the first time I ever astral projected. It was very difficult to explain what had happened. I was also in a silent meditation retreat, so that made it really hard to explain because I wasn't supposed to talk to people, but whatever. But to describe to people who, love me, care about me, have known me for a long time, talk to them about what they would conceptualize as paranormal, whereas I would say I don't think that was a spiritual experience. It was just an energetic experience. Astral projection is really interesting. There is research on it. Yeah, I think it's called remote viewing. Anyways, you are coming to recognize these things are real. You do believe in them, but they require a certain ability to stand in your trust, in your faith, and be able to do that essentially on your own until you find people that you can really connect with about the things that you are learning, the things that you are now resonating with, and the things that you're waking up to. But I would say that you are regenerating from potentially a letdown, a disappointment, maybe even disappointment in yourself, and you are regenerating. It's like you're pressing a reset button, but you're not fully resetting. You're leveling up into a greater level of consciousness or a higher level of conscious awareness. And now that means you have more trust and faith. Whereas when you experience setbacks in the past, it would just totally, you'd wobble so hard that you'd fall down. Luckily, you got back up again. You have every single time. And now you're here. That was such a specific message. It was really interesting, a little bit rambly, but I hope this is helpful to you, whoever is claiming this reading. I am sending you so much love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.